What's up? Welcome back to another edition of Live from Redhook here at the Function House. Tonight, we have our very special guest DJ, Miss Jennifer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
What's going on? Is this your first time in Redhook?
Yes, this is my first time.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I love it. This is so cool. I love this place.
You're born in New York, right? You're from New York?
Yes.
What part of New York are you from?
I'm born and raised in Queens. I'm Polish, even though many people think different things. But I am 100% Polish. Both my parents were born there, and I was born and raised in Queens, went to Forest Hills High School.
Sorry to hear that. No.
Right. You guys are Brooklyn guys.
We're
I
Brooklyn.
have a lot of friends in Queens, though.
You know,
Like
Brooklyn's
one
growing on
friend.
me.
Born and raised in Queens, Forest Hills High School.
Yeah. What else? What else you want to know?
Hunter College?
Yes, Hunter College, graduate.
Played basketball.
Played basketball. I was a model for like about maybe 10 years. Basketball, 12. I was recruited for Hunter College. I played about half a semester before I realized I was not really muscular enough. So I was like, all right, you know what? I went a couple different routes. But I graduated in computer science, so the whole technology thing kind of goes.
So bachelor in computer science, and you started DJing.
That goes together, right?
Yeah.
It's like
It's like
Makes
peanut butter and jelly.
makes sense.
So how did that happen? How did you go from graduating college with a computer science degree to, fuck it, I want to start DJing?
Well, I was in college, and then college took a lot longer than it should have because the DJing kind of took off.
Oh, you were slacking.
Well, I wasn't slacking, but I was trying to keep up with everything. I think it ended up taking me, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be honest with you guys, like 7 years
That's
to
all right.
finish my bachelor's. But everything kind of like, work got crazy. I never really planned on being a DJ or a musician or a producer. It all just kind of started happening. I mean, I started going out. I was always going out. I always liked going out.
Where,
You had a thing for nightclubs.
Yes,
Where
I
were you-
definitely had such a thing. for
where
nightclubs.
what places were you going out to?
Well, I have to say, my mother hates when I tell this story, but I was like 13 3/4 because I wasn't 14 yet when I got my first fake ID. And
Wow, that was young.
that was really
I
young.
was the same age. I think I was like with the NYU fake ID, 14 years old.
Yeah, mine was from Maryland. I got it on West 4th. We got it done on West 4th.
That's where everybody went to get them done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were going to Sound Factory and Exit and Tunnel and Limelight once or twice. And yeah, it was like from 14 to like 16, 17, maybe 16. It was a lot of going out. And then it kind of like, I got over it a little bit. All my friends we all grew out of it a little bit. We're just doing normal, teenager things, going to bars and, on the weekends, but it wasn't so much like clubs and electronic music. And then when I was about 19, I met my ex, who I was with for like 7 years, and they were really, really, really into the scene at that time. So I met everyone, I met so many people, and then, I don't know, it just started clicking. Like, I would be like watching, I think we were at Neptune's or something one Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend, and I think Victor was playing, and yeah, it was just something about like the beach and the music and everyone, and it was just like, watching everyone, it felt so good to see everyone like so carefree, happy, just having a good time. I was like, this is great. It must feel pretty great to, kind of conduct that.
Yeah.
And then I started like investigating. I conned my, significant other into buying me a CDJ, for my mother to buying me another one for Christmas. And yeah, so that's how
And
it
then
started.
how did you start accumulating your music?
I was always collecting music. I was always collecting music. I was like 13, or even younger. I always had a crazy library. I'd go to Canal Street and try to find the CDs that, with the songs that I heard at Sound Factory, really, really young. And then there was Kaza and was it LimeWire and
Yeah.
all those like downloading things.
So you skipped the vinyl age?
I skipped it. I feel so bad. I know everyone will
Saved a
crucify
lot of
me.
money. You saved a ton of money.
And
I
you probably
know.
saved your back, too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have made it. I would have never made it. I would have had to have a lot of help.
Have to hire a crew to go out and
Yeah,
DJ.
you can't afford that in the beginning. So,
So there had to be that one DJ that actually made you say, "Hey, I want to DJ." Who was that DJ?
I mean, you know, Victor's a really good friend. I have to kind of give him the credit. Like, it was really, I like his vibe. I like the way he mixes, you know, the story he tells in his sets. I mean, it was a lot. It was, when I was 19, I went to Europe for about 3 weeks with my cousin and my partner at that time. And we went to the Last Love Parade in Berlin. And it was Paul Van Dyke on, like, it was so crazy. In Germany, there's this, like, highway, and I don't know how many millions of people were there. It was insane. But then in the center, there's, like, this statue that I think the French gave Germany. I don't know what it is, but it's this, like, statue. There's this gold angel at the top, and they put the booth in the statue. And so to the east, it was like one booth, and to the west, it was another. It was just the highway went like this way. And I think on one side, it was Paul Van Dyke. The other side, it was Tiesto. And like this is like 15 years ago or so, so when Tiesto was playing a little bit differently.
Yeah.
It was like one of the most amazing things I had ever seen, that party. It was really, really something else. And at 19, 19, 18, something like that. So that, and then I came home, and you know, I started going out a lot more again when I was 19 at home, and I don't know, I kind of was like, what's going on here? How do I get involved?
So what was like your first party? Like who put you on first? Like where'd you play first to sort of start, you know?
Where did I play
Who
first?
was
Yeah.
that first promoter too that like put you on?
Oh God, it had to be a horrible after hours in Queens after Pasha or something one night. I don't even think I could mix properly yet. It was definitely like a couple train wrecks after another. But I had a lot of friends, so they probably thought it was a good idea to let me play. And all my friends would come, and all the girls and everything. But definitely train wrecked. And it was so late. I wasn't used to being up at those hours. I was like trying to like get my head together. His name was like, I think it was Christian and Castor. They were throwing some party at some place called Nostra. It was
It's like The Walking Dead.
yes, but it was packed. It was packed. It was a good party.
So were you playing there for a while, or?
No, I did that a couple times, but that was like, I think, the first time anyone let me ever train wreck the party. No, I'm kidding. I mean, the girl, there was a lot of like, there was maybe 25, 30, and for an after hours at that time, it was decent size, like all my friends. So they didn't really care that I was train wrecking. I was playing all their favorite songs, and everybody was really happy.
And how long ago was this? Like how many years ago was this?
This was 2008 into 2009, so that it was like November 2008, because I'm asked this question so many times now, I have to memorize. When did you start? So it was 2008, however many years ago that was now. Damn, time flies.
It
Years
does.
ago.
Yeah.
So when did you start, like, you know, developing, you know, a format for knowing how to program your music and the style of music you wanted to start playing? Like, when did that click for you?
I don't know if that ever really clicks. I think that's like, I was watching an interview once, I think it was Loco Dice that was saying this, that I feel like as an artist, you're always kind of like developing your sound and, you know, exploring, and because, you know, once, let's say you find your sound and then that's your sound, you play that sound, you might as well play the same track, you know, for the rest of your life. I don't know, I mean, that's how I see it. You're always kind of learning and changing, and well, that's for me at least how it goes. But I mean, yeah, it definitely took some time to really, it's a learning process. You know, I feel like in anything in life, if you're not learning something new every day, you're not really doing something right.
And also when you travel, like your sets have to change according to where you're going? Like in Colombia, you do a lot of work in Colombia.
Yeah, we
So
play
how
there.
are your sets different in Colombia than they are in New York City?
You know, well, the last time I played in Manizales, it was such an amazing party. We had such a good time. I wouldn't say I played that different. I mean, it depends. You get a feel for the area, you know, by talking to the promoters a little. You see what kind of artists they book and whatnot. But for the most part, I mean, you do you. That's what they're hiring you to come and do, you know. So it's really more like me, what I feel like doing that day, sort of, kind of.
So what is it about Colombia? Because I read some stuff that's like your favorite place to play. Is it just because the way the people welcome you, or what is it?
It's so crazy. I mean, it all started because my ex is Colombian, and then I met so much of the Colombian population in New York, and they're great, amazing people. They're fun. So many of them are my close friends. So many of my best friends have been, but that country in itself is just. There's something so special about that country. The energy there, when you go there, it's just so positive. Like everyone's, it's a really, really great place. So to play there is it's so much fun. It makes it that much easier. When you go somewhere where everybody's miserable, it's a lot harder. But when you go somewhere where everybody's kind of happy and positive as is, it's just a great vibe, It's easier to create great energy.
What's been one of your toughest gigs you ever had to play?
Oh my God, I try not to remember those, I guess. I mean, listen, you win some, you lose some with anything in life. It's impossible that everything you walk into is going to be a walk in the park, that every gig is going to be packed out with 1,000 people. I mean, there was this one gig.
You remember that?
It's such a tricky business. It's also because most of, it's kind of male dominated also. So as a female, sometimes you take things for granted and you really do have to be careful. We were booked one time for this I don't even remember, and I won't even probably say it if I did remember on camera, but there was this neighborhood in Jersey, deep out, like deep, and it was ghetto as it was bad. I had no idea. I don't live in Jersey, and Jersey's big. I know the closer cities and the bigger ones that we play in, but it's impossible even for me to know every neighborhood. It was a really bad neighborhood. There's tons of gangs, I guess, and there was a situation. Someone hit one of the girls I was with because he was dancing with her, and I guess he grabbed her, so she pushes him. The kid hit her, punched her in the face. My boy that I was with then punches him in the face, and 10 guys jumped in. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Sure they didn't hire you back.
I would never even speak to those
So it wasn't a really bad music experience.
No, that was just scary. But music experience wise,
Yeah.
no, for the most part, I feel like with our music, people kind of know what they're doing, know what they're booking for the most part. There's been there's always occasionally someone walks up to me asking for salsa or Drake
That's a promoter issue if someone's coming up to
or
you.
there's just a confused drunk girl that's where are you gonna play a hip hop song? Well, no, not today. Maybe in the car later if you want to go. But
What's your favorite room in New York to play?
Ever or right now?
Right now.
Right now.
Right now, I mean, Output really has it set up so great for any artist to play. From the sound, from a DJ's perspective, it's definitely heaven. Everything's really, really set up perfectly. Before that, I mean, Pasha was definitely one of my favorite places also. I think Jonathan Peters had a big part in setting up the booth there, so everything was really, really to the T also. You see everything from the VIP to the floor. I love how that was set up.
They used to move the booth around too over
They
there.
did, and then they did, yeah. When it was Sound Factory, I think it was up higher on the mezz, and then there was that, they put it on the stage, and then when they would have shows, they would move it up also.
Yeah, I know, because I noticed a couple of times, sometimes you'd be on the dance floor, and then sometimes it'd be like up in the air. Like when Danny Tenaglia played, he'd like to be up like
Yeah,
high away
yeah.
from everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, they would move it around.
So you've played with some of the bigger names in dance music. What is that like preparing for a night with, say, like a Chus and Ceballos and like these names that you're playing with? Are you getting like list of songs not to play? Is there like phone calls that, you know, talk about what to play and what not to play?
No, they never tell you what to play and what not to play. For the most part, when you're booked to play with certain guys, you're booked for a reason. You're booked with the intent that you know what is kind of expected of you. Obviously, when you're playing with with other talent, that you should kind of like you should know who they are and what they play and whatnot, and vice versa. I mean, so that it's not like this one's playing this and this one's in that extreme, but never like you can't play this track. I mean, no. But it's exciting. It's fun because I like playing with guys that I respect and that have done more than me because I know I'm getting a lot more out of the gig for a change. But it's also easier. It's going to be a good night. It's a little less pressure than worrying. You got everything else when you have everything on your shoulders.
Well, it also has to be exciting to play for a night like that. Like we actually came to hear you play at Output when you were opening for Chus and Ceballos, and that, I mean, the energy in the room was amazing.
That was amazing.
It was packed like really early.
They closed the doors, I think. At
Yeah,
like 1,
and you did a very good job.
Thank you
in
so
terms
much.
of opening up the room. We enjoyed it. So that's got to be really exciting when you know that you're going to be playing for a room where people are coming to hear good music and to have a good time.
Well, you can never really predict how it's going to go. I never in my wildest dreams imagined it was going to go as well as that night went. That night was phenomenal. Like you can hear it in the recording. It's just really, really like the crowd was so there. But yeah, I mean that was so much fun.
So you have that recorded?
Yeah.
Is
It's
that
up.
on your-
It's up on my podcast.
Okay, so let's talk about the podcast. How often do you do a podcast?
There was definitely a period that I was doing it every week because I play almost every week. But now I've been focusing so much more on production that it's hard. It's hard to do everything, But I try to do it like the sets I know, like I felt it. I feel like you can feel it in the recordings. So it's every 2-3 weeks or so. The Vibology podcast.
How did you come up with that name?
I think I was in the ocean in Ibiza, and I was trying to come up with like a brand name, and I was just, I kind of, everything's about the vibe. I really believe that like my whole career and direction and reason for doing all this is really just this energy that's created between you and like however many people are standing in front of you at that time. I think that's what's like, magical kind of about being a DJ or because then the production side is a whole separate thing, and that's amazing too. But so there's that, and then I was studying computers, so I just kind of made like my mind sometimes gets overcomplicated with things, so I was just like, well, let's make the vibe thing into like a science, and we're like, yeah, let's call it vibology, because I think ology is the study of something. If you Google it, and so like vibology, so that's how we created the word.
It's cool.
Thank you.
How often are you producing? How often are you in the studio working on tracks?
Well, I'm in the studio every week, but how often we finish a track and we like it, is not as. There's so many projects that we make, we finish, and I'm just like, no.
I'm sure that happens with everyone.
Yeah. But we just put out a couple projects in last January. Then there's like another couple that we just finished, and then there's a few other ones in the works. It's an ongoing process.
Are there any particular labels that you put your stuff out on?
Well, Nervous I've been working with almost my entire career. We've had some huge hits on there. We did like 2 compilations. Letting Go was a really big track with Alejandra Salas. That was like an original vocal that she sang and we recorded. There's Nervous, there's D-Noise Records. We put something out on Beat Freak.
D-Noise is Odie Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
shout out to Odie Rock.
Yes, shout out to Odie. And shout out to Mike on Nervous. Yeah. The production's a whole nother complex world that's like, you know, you could keep learning how to make music till the day you die, because there's the new ways of making music, old ways of making music, and from playing a violin to like playing it on the computer through a MIDI, you know, keyboard. And, you know, I think music will just keep evolving till forever, so there'll always be more to learn about music production.
So technology-wise, when you're playing out in a club, you're using Tractor, using the controllers.
Yeah, I've kind of like developed this like, I really like to like loop the parts of tracks, you know, take out certain parts with the highs and mids, but so I really like to use 3 to 4 channels. So it's easier for me to just, you know, connect the box, and then I got my 4 channels, and I got my sounds on the 4th channel with the F1, and I mean that's worked for me, you know, for some years now. So I'm thinking about switching back to the, you know, CDJs and USBs and all that, but I don't know. We'll see.
Whatever you're comfortable
Yeah,
with.
it's just, it's like, you know, I feel like all DJs are so stuck in their ways, so it's like, you know, it's kind of like taking that step to like, all right, I'm going to switch back.
Have you ever had a major technical malfunction?
You know, we're going to knock on fucking... No, I have not. I like to thank my computer science bachelor's degree. I swear there was like, I would have like 3 computers in the house, and no one was ever allowed to use the laptop that I DJed with or anything. I don't even think it was ever usually connected to the internet. Like that's how crazy I was about like not, you know, catching anything or getting the files corrupted so anything crashes and whatnot. I mean, I think actually with CDJs I've had like, you know, CDs used to skip. That sucked, like occasionally. But no, with the computer, it's been, not that I can remember.
All right.
What does Miss Jennifer do when she's not DJing?
Oh, she tries to collect herself. She tries to rest. No. What do I do when I'm not DJing? I'm doing more work, networking, out everywhere, doing shows like this, doing, you know, producing in the studio. I try like once a week to just stay in bed, but it hasn't happened in a couple weeks now. So, you know, there's always like somewhere to go, someone to see, someone to support, a buddy, someone you want to work with, someone, you know, that's in town or whatever. And then there's the whole personal life too. You know, there's so many friends at this point, and it's like, I feel like it's someone's birthday every single day of my life. There's someone I know that it's their birthday that day. So it's a lot.
Your birthday's coming up soon, right?
My birthday's coming up soon.
You have something special planned for your birthday?
Well, it's kind of in the works, so don't kill me, guys, if it doesn't happen. But it's like 90% sure we're probably gonna be doing Shemansky in July for the birthday. So shout out to Boris, Andrew, and Eddie. We're looking at July, like 15th through the 22nd. But yeah, we'll see.
Cool. Well, we're happy to have you here. And we're going to get you up on these native instrument, whatever you call those things.
Native instruments. Yes, I'm happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
Cool. We're going to take a 2-minute break. We're going to get her up on the decks. Peace.
Peace.